Thank you for joining us this morning on this very fine and very warm morning. And I want to thank our veterans for coming here this morning in support of SB10. This bill, which is the second time I've authored this, would allow the Veterans Homes Allied Councils of each veterans home in the state to represent themselves before the state legislature. And the bill has already passed the Senate unanimously, and it will be presented in the Assembly today by Assemblymember Cook, and it will be reaching the governor's desk shortly. We passed this bill with no votes in both houses of the legislature last year. Unfortunately, once it reached Governor Schwarzenegger's desk, he vetoed it. And I say that it's very unfortunate because I'm standing here today very proud to be surrounded by veterans who have valiantly fought and risked their lives for our freedoms and our constitutional rights. And one of those most precious rights is the ability to have freedom of speech and the ability to speak for oneself and to petition one's government for redress of grievances. And what we are doing under current California law is denying that right to the veterans themselves who have fought and died for those rights. So it's very ironic that Governor Schwarzenegger vetoed this bill. It's very ironic that we do not have the support of the Department of Veterans Affairs. I'm the proud daughter of a Marine Corps drill instructor who risked his life in Korea. So I feel very strongly about this bill. I think it is the right thing to do. I think we need to allow the veterans to have their own voice and to speak to their own elected representatives. And I call on this governor, on Governor Jerry Brown, to do the right thing and sign this bill. We have Assemblymember Cook here and Senator Correa who are in support of the bill and would like to speak. And then we also have Ed Olson, the chair of the Allied Council from the wonderful Yountville Veterans Home. Mr. Cook.
Thank you very much, Senator Evans. You know, I have to mention that the senator and I have something in common, and that is that we both had veterans bills which were vetoed by the previous governor, and we were both going to do overrides of these bills. And was it last year, the year, time goes so quickly here, but I actually think we could have gotten them on both of them. And we're obviously, this group here is very, very passionate about this issue. It's if you talk to the veterans at that home, they're like a family. It's a special culture. You know, they're not my district. I'll be very candid about that, but they are probably the most active group I have ever seen, and they got a lot of issues going, and I love that, because that's the only way you're going to change the bureaucracy and make things better. So I'm obviously an author on this bill. I'm going to present this bill. I'm very, very confident we're going to get it passed this morning. We're going to talk to the governor, and we want to talk about our cause, and I'm very confident we're going to get it signed. So thank you very much for having me here. Thank you, Senator.
Thank you, Noreen. Thank you, Paul. You know, it's the old saying, some gave all gave some. These are veterans that have gone off and fought for our freedom throughout the world in many wars. And yet they come home and they find that they don't have the freedom to speak directly to their legislatures. Instead, they have to go through a bureaucracy. This is a common sense bill that says if you're a veteran, if you're one of these veterans, you can pick up the phone, walk across the street, and talk to your local elected representative. That's all this bill is about. It's about being able to exercise your freedom of speech by veterans. What could be more common? What could have more common sense than this piece of legislation? And as Noreen and Paul have said, the former governor actually vetoed this piece of legislation. Ladies and gentlemen, Governor, if you're listening, please use some common sense, sign this piece of legislation, and make sure that these veterans are able to exercise their First Amendment right. Veterans throughout this country, I thank you for what you've done for this great country. Thank you very much.
Speaking as the chair of the Allied Council in Yountville, I would like to say that I feel that this bill is very, very strongly needed, and I'm sure the governor is going to sign it. I'm thinking positive here, because you know, at the average age of 78, the veterans in our homes, they're losing a little bit of their energy, but they still need a lot of support. We represent the veterans in our homes, and we do a great job with the administrator. But we know that we can do also a very great job when we are also representing all of the members at the homes when we go and talk to the legislators. So this bill will really, really make a big difference. We've done that in the past. For some reason or other, CDVA has been reluctant now to let us do this, but we are sure that with this bill being signed, we will continue to do a great job and represent all of our veterans at all of the homes, and actually many more veterans of our age. So we're looking forward to the governor signing this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. The last thing I'll say is these are brave men and women that are gathered here with us to support this bill. And the least, we owe them a huge debt of gratitude. And the least we can do for them is to allow them to speak for themselves and not have to go through a state bureaucracy to talk to their own elected officials. And that's what this bill is all about. Thank you for coming, and we will be available for questions.